Hi, I'm Dave Boehne. I'm from the beautiful city of Dana Point, home site for the Battle of the Paddle. It's a race that's going on this Saturday. A couple people are going to be there, including that guy. And just saying hi to the distressed mullet folks and the 50% Chuck guy.
80% Chuck, sweaty.
Yeah.
No.
Well, last time I saw you, it was 50, but I guess it's probably 80 now. 80%.
You were at 105 at one point. He was at 105.
Okay, 80% Chuck.
Yeah, he's 80% of Chuck's size. So.
Yeah.
And Kai, how are you doing? And you got your first haircut?
Yeah, I just went with Boehne just now, and it took me to the, basically my first barbershop experience. I'm from Maui, and usually it's just, trim it up a little bit and then go back in the water, and here it was like proper, which I'm stoked on, stoked to get the Boehne cut.
So you have a lot of cutthroats going out there, a lot of customs. What's going on this week?
Yeah, man, it's like this week's just been kind of it's all about getting boards done and people coming in to get their boards, or like people flying over here because they didn't bring a board and they're just trying to get a board. So like they want to try boards. Hey, can you meet me here? So it's just been a bunch of that. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of boards out there. So it'll be fun, some custom stuff, and supposedly the Boardworks guy's been loaning some out to some people too. So
how the Phoenix is going? I know you've been changing a lot of the designs.
Yeah, man.
B2s are coming.
Yeah, the Phoenix has been good. It's definitely it was kind of like our buzz board for the summer, because it's always when you release a new board, it's kind of the buzz board at the time, but it's a perfect summer kind of sup, and so this summer is our best selling SUP, which is cool, and we're gonna be doing some with Boardworks next year. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, stoked.
And congratulations on a great season, man. You really kicked ass last week.
Yeah, I had an amazing run last week. It was perfect because it's kind of the pre-race to the battle, and so I'm using this as momentum going into the Battle of the Paddle. And yeah, what can I say? It was really fun going through big surf, and hopefully we have some surf again here at Battle. I mean, hasn't failed us once, and it's been, how long has it been going now? For a while now.
Yeah, every time there's waves.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know, but we actually have a ritualistic disemboweling of a chicken, and we do a dance. So it's actually scientific. It works. It works.
Do it because I like the waves.
Yeah, the waving over the head. Not with this, but so you've been here for 2 weeks. I mean, how are you feeling going into it? Are you feeling pretty rested?
Yeah, I feel as ready as I could, possibly feel. I feel better this year than I did last year coming into Battle, and Battle's one of those races where there's luck involved as well. If you catch the right wave, if you're in sync with the ocean, and however you feel when you wake up. So hopefully I'll wake up super rested and recharged and ready to go. I mean, right now I could go right now. I'm so excited for it, and the fact that you get to race against the best, fastest guys in the world right here in Boehne Beach is just epic. It's a perfect kind of little arena for stand-up paddling.
Yeah, how do you work the couple of days before a big event like this, as far as like your eating and your rest? Because I mean, imagine there's just everybody you haven't seen in a long time. It's big party atmosphere, but trying to like really stay focused before the main event. I mean, how's that like?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is to like stay focused coming into the this big event. I wouldn't actually say it's the hardest, but it's so much as making sure you can peak on the day you want to peak. It's like whatever food you're eating, the kind of sleep you're getting. It's all about having everything in line, because you don't want to wake up and have it be one of your off days. And so it's about like timing the rest days and still working hard and training hard so that your engine's at a high rate and it's running. So yeah, it's one of those things going up to a big event. You just got to keep your eye on the prize and commit yourself.
I bet going through that tour and going from country to country has really helped you, been able to like sort of refine it, get used to like getting to a new spot and getting what you need. And
yeah, for the last like 2 months, I've been going from weekend to weekend, big race after big race, wave event after wave event, and it's been so good for me because I feel like I can turn it on within 5 minutes of walking down to the beach. If it's time to go, I can turn it on, whereas at the beginning of the year I didn't feel like that. And I think it was because before that I hadn't been able to do weekend after weekend big races against really fast guys. So everything kind of leads up to this event, the Battle of Paddle. This is kind of the I guess people are calling it the Super Bowl of stand-up, and I mean, you can argue against that since all the fastest guys show up, and it's kind of the biggest stage in stand-up right now. So it's that one event that everyone wants to win.
Yeah, well, how are you going to approach the the distance race? Anything different? Because I mean, I know that gigantic line full of people and everyone starts slamming together, and you guys are usually in the same sort of core group each year. I mean, you have that sort of, you go in with a strategy, and not that you have to reveal it, but if you tell us, we can let everybody know.
Yeah, usually every time I go into any race, I have a game plan. I have, my A plan and the B plan, and it's important to always have, those two rock solid. And so if one fails, you can rely on to the other. The distance race, it's so hard because you push so hard, on the, course race the day before, and that's kind of the one that matters the most, it seems like. And so you're pushing so hard, and if you win, you're so happy, and then you wake up the next morning and you're going to do it all over again. And that's what makes racing so interesting. It's like you got to be on game, full on the whole time. And the long distance can be interesting this year because, everyone's, has boards for it, all 14s. It's like people are, I think, pretty excited to race hard and race fast. And, I got over the fact about, before I felt like, I wanted to, race as fair as I could, and that was all fine. And then after a couple races this year, I kept getting smoked a little bit. So now there's just no rules, so it's great. It's way more fun. Just hit boards, hit paddles. It's all good once we get to the beach, though. It's sick.
You had a couple of elbows last year with Connor going around that one corner when you were on opposite sides, and his board was on your left and his board was on your right, and that was. But it does. But actually, something that. As sort of like a mentor relationship with Slater, and you're sort of got a good mentor relationship, it seems like, with Chuck and a couple other people. I mean, how does that work out? I mean, you guys both have sort of opposite perspectives on this right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously for me, I'm not looking to win Battle of the Paddle. I have my own goals that I want to make the final and I want to do the best I can, but I'm not falling asleep stressing out, oh, am I going to win it this year probably these guys are, so because I'm a fan of these guys, I'm behind them kind of checking the race and hopefully making the final. But I mean, obviously I want Slater to do the best he can. Good friends with I'm good friends with Kai. I love Slater, and I think Slater deserves it. He's been training hard and it's kind of overdue in a way, but like you said, there's so many factors and so many good guys. It's I mean, there's going to be good guys that don't make the final this year if you've seen the heat draw. I mean...
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the first heat because, honestly, the first heat is the most stacked. I'm in the second heat, and I'm like, whew, I'm going to cruise this one, rest up for the final. But I think everyone that's going in the first heat is going to be battling already. So
there's definitely going to be a handful of guys that you're like, wow.
I mean, like you said there, Dave, it's there's so many factors, and there's so many guys that deserve to win it, Slater, I know, has been training super hard. He hasn't been doing as many races as I have, but he's been, focusing on this one race. And so, me as a competitor, of course I want to win, and I want my best friends to get second after me, but as well, too, I'm, such a big fan of the sport. I want to see everyone just push it to the next level. So, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, every year it gets more and more exciting, and it's fun to see the hype, at the SUP Awards right before, 2 days before the race. You can see all that, excitement and hype, and after that, it depending on how you place in the SUP Awards, egos may be crushed or maybe uplifted, and it's going to be really funny this year. So, Battle of the Paddle 2013. It feels like, it was yesterday I was here doing 2012. It's this trip.
How important is that first buoy last time?
Yeah, I think if you're really a fast guy, look at it. Last year, Danny Ching wasn't the first guy at the buoy. He was 10th or something. He had a pretty poor start. I was right next to him, and luckily I recovered from that start pretty quick, and I was maybe third to the buoy. But I think it's important to be the first to the buoy, but if you're really, I think the top three fastest guys, top four, top five, being the first buoy is important, but it's not the race. I mean, it's just when you see guys kind of inching at the start. 2 inches ain't going to win you the whole race right there. It's going to come down to that last bit. Do you push hard enough, around the run that made it so you lined up on a wave coming back in? It's all again, it's all luck. I mean, you could be the first to the buoy and you're paddling and there's no waves, and then the guy in 200th place could catch a wave and pass you. So it's that's what makes the battle so exciting. We saw that at Huntington Beach. There was waves, and it just levels the playing field. Guys that may have faster boards, it doesn't really matter. It's really comes down to, technique and tactics, and how dedicated you are, and who wants to hurt the most. Like this year, I'm planning on going until I pass out. Like that's how bad I want it this year, and I'm sure there's a lot more guys that are thinking the same thing. If you don't pass out or throw up at the end, then you probably didn't race hard enough, and if you didn't win, then you should have passed out or threw up.
Well, cool. Well, good luck, and thanks for your time. I know how busy you guys are getting ready for this.